everybody. Thank you for coming into the Dice Odyssey. I'm Kaz, and today we're going to be talking about the new James Bond game called Moonrakers. I'm kidding. I'm sorry I had to throw that stupid joke. It was dumb, but I had to do it because it's the title of a Bond film. What can I say? And that was Roger Moore, not Sean Connery. But anyway, this game is by Ivy Studios. This is a game about a faction of, I guess you would call them outlaws, who are going out to do different kinds of missions, and they are called the Moonrakers. And you are trying to become the de facto leader of the Moonrakers by, I guess, by getting the most prestige. And you do that through negotiation, deck building. The game does say it goes from 60 to 120 minutes and from 1 to 5 players. I'm going to go ahead and just give you a general quick explanation of the game. I'm not going to go through necessarily all the rules and all of that. There are some really good videos online, including from the company themselves. They can give you a great tutorial that you can watch to help you learn how to play the game. And then I'm going to go ahead and give you my pros and my cons in the game, and then kind of a final rating. In the game, you're going to have your own player board. It is basically your ship. Everybody's going to have that. And you're going to get a hand of cards. And as a matter of fact, on the player board, it tells you what cards you're going to get. And you're going to basically build a starting hand from these. You're also going to have some secret objectives throughout the game that you can use to gain prestige. And you'll be able to get more as you go. The basic gist of the game is there's a contract phase where, the player's going to select a mission to go on, and these missions are going to have different kinds of rewards ranging from points to getting more cards to getting more coins, because you're going to use coins to be able to upgrade your ship or hire crew and purchase ship upgrades that will help you further along and also help you deck build as well, add more cards into the deck. And on each mission card, it's going to show you the different kinds of requirements or specific cards that you have to play to be able to complete those missions. It's also going to show you how many damage dice you're going to have to roll, because the higher the amount of damage dice you have to roll, the higher the chance is you're going to have to clear more damage. And you would do that using shield cards specifically in your deck. So after you select the contract, you'll invite your allies, and you can invite other people to come along and see if they can contribute to completing the mission. And you'll negotiate the rewards and who's going to take what hazard dice. So if somebody wants to come in and say, hey, I want to take, this mission gives me 5 coins. I want to take 2 of those. I also want, one of the 2 prestige that might be on it. I'll even take one of the 2 hazard dice. And if you can come to that agreement, y'all go on the mission. And then you roll the hazard dice, and then you go ahead and attempt the contract. And you'll do this by playing cards on the contract. And even if you play certain cards that are required by the contract, you're still able to complete those card actions as well. Now, most of the cards in your deck are going to have special abilities because you only get 1 action per turn. So to be able to play more cards, you have to get more actions. Well, you would do that with the reactor card because it gives you +2 actions on that turn. Do you need to draw more cards from your deck? Well, you have a thruster card for that. It allows you to draw +2 more cards. Do you need to deal damage out on this mission? Well, you can go ahead and play damage cards to do that, and they can range from 1 to 3 damage. Or do you have to play a crew card? And there's a lot of different crew in this game that you can collect to actually build your deck, and each one of them will have their own special abilities. Now, once you've completed the mission, you distribute the rewards, and if there's any hazards left off the dice that you rolled, you're going to have to distribute the hazards as well, and that'll actually take away from prestige that you may have earned. There's multiple options that you can take on each turn. That was number 1. The other option is you can actually stay at the base. This allows you to take a credit, draw 2 objectives and keep 1, or optional, you can discard a contract and replace it. Regardless of whatever you choose to do on your turn, you still get the opportunity to go in and buy extra ship upgrades if you want to, or ship crew to build your deck. And then you're going to discard cards and draw 5 new ones, no matter what. Play is going to continue like this until somebody scores 10 prestige, which is going to trigger the end of the game. Now, when you're going to purchase ship parts or crew, you're going to have the little red credit symbol that shows how much that cost is, typically in the bottom right, and then you're able to gain those cards, and you can buy as many as you want on your turn. Now I'm going to go ahead and get into my pros and cons. Now, starting out, did I like the game? Yes, I really did like this game. Now, when it comes down to it, were there any cons? Yeah, but we'll get to those in just a minute. I'm going to start with the pros first. First off, production quality. Now, I happen to have the Kickstarter edition specifically, so I have to say that the Kickstarter edition is pretty amazing. I don't know if there's any major detail, differences between the Kickstarter edition and the actual retail edition. I have to say, I really, really, really love the production quality. Metal coin, if you can hear that. Clinkety clink love, metal coin lust, whatever you want to call it. I love metal coins. So if you throw metal coins in your game, even if I hate your game, and if they're well done, I'm already going to give you a point up just because on production quality, I love metal coins. And you're speaking to my heart, you're speaking to my gamer heart. I also like the cards artwork. It's weird. It's almost a minimalist style of artwork. The whole game has a very minimalist style look to it. It has kind of a faded out style of colors and everything else, but I did like the way that they captured the feel of deep space to some extent. Although, you don't have necessarily a major board you're playing on or anything. You have multiple boards that do different things, the armory and this, that, and the other. But I did like the style that they were going for. I honestly didn't know if I would like that at first. I did like the cover, but I was going, I don't know if I'm going to enjoy that the entire time I play, but it grew on me and I really enjoyed the style. I did feel like I was in space and I was conducting missions. To an extent, right? This isn't like VR or anything. It was fun though. It drew me in and it kept me interested, okay? The other thing is I do like the color coding on each of the cards and the color coding on the crew and other things so you could know very specifically what type of cards do what. Oh, okay, well, I got to read it, right? And the text it could have been a little bigger, but I understand they're trying to keep the size of the cards the way they are. But it was good enough, and I enjoyed that. But the color coding of the cards helped me understand that, okay, this type of card does this blue card does that, this orange card does that. It helps you to understand the game better and the game flow better, okay? So that's another big plus. Another thing, I like negotiation games, generally speaking, okay? Not every one of them, but I do like them. And so I already have a little bit of a bias towards negotiation. Now, I will say, if it's not done well, I'm not going to like it, okay? I'm not going to say I like it. I thought the negotiation in this game was done fairly well. I really enjoyed it. I was engaged the whole time. I was even engaged on other people's turns because I want to know where their prestige is going to be, what they're offering, and can I jump in with a counter offer? Should it benefit me to do so? You know what I mean? And so you're engaged the whole time, almost every player's turn. I mean, you pretty much are, right? And so that was fun to me. I also love the jockeying for position between players because, I'll offer you this to do this. No, but I've got a better offer over here, which is always fun in negotiation. And the fact is if somebody's getting too far ahead in prestige, it is possible somebody could try to king make another one if you ticked them off earlier. Again, that's normal in some negotiation games. That's a fact. That's going to happen. And if you're higher up in prestige at some point than another player, there may be times that the other players might gang up on you and say, I do not want to help you out. I don't want to help you cross that finish line. I also really love the fact that there's a bit of deck building in this game. And the fact that you're also upgrading your ship as you go, and you can have pass abilities, some active abilities for your crew, things of that nature. I really enjoyed that. And I like deck building in general. So again, another little bit of a bias, but again, if it's not done well, I'm not going to like it. This I thought was done very well. And I haven't seen too many games that have done something like this. Matter of fact, I don't think I've seen any. And so it really hit me that this is a bit of a hybrid, and I don't mean like hybrid in the normal sense, but it felt hybridized, like it had negotiation, deck building, tableau building, and a little bit of engine building in it, which I love engine building. And so, yeah, it did a lot of things right, all gelled together. Now, this could have gone terribly wrong had you got one thing out of sync. I also like the secret objectives. The secret objectives were simple. There's even like a tradery style secret objective. And honestly, it's not like it's a trader game. Anybody could get that objective at any time. And I think there were multiple in the game. But you might screw somebody over on a mission, and you actually complete that objective, right? And so there are some cool things in the game because like when it comes to the objectives, and typically you're flipping them over right away anyway to get that extra prestige that adds up to your score. So I did like the secret objectives in the game. They really kept the game fresh because you never know what you're going to get. Quite frankly, I kind of wish there were more. I felt like that part of the deck was a little thin, but it was still good. It was a ton of different missions to go on. And that's another thing. The missions are all varied. You could actually go on some of these solo. Sometimes you may not want necessarily an extra person to come with you because you want those coins or you want whatever it's offering, and it doesn't require any hazards to go through. Or if it has even hazards, you've got enough of a good, well-built deck that you might be able to handle it. Now, most of the time, that's not the case. You have to really pick and choose, but you'll find that many people are going to be fighting over those simpler cards to try to build themselves up faster so they can handle the really big, hard cards later on. And there are some doozies in there that require 2-3 people sometimes to really handle them, maybe even more than that at times. But yeah, the missions were cool. There was a massive deck of them. I mean, I just don't see you playing any game twice the same way, honestly. Now, were there any cons? Okay, some of this is going to be subjective. Some of it might be a little objective, okay? Sometimes if you have AP players, and it's very possible to have this happen, they could take a while in the buying phase, trying to figure out what's going to combo well with what they may already have on the ship or what they may have in their hands, okay? Because you might have certain crew that are going to work really well with certain specific upgrades for your ship. Now, that's more of a player issue, but you might sit there for a little bit. And honestly, there were times where we had to literally set a timer for some, and this is just people at my table, but we had to set a little 30-second timer. All right, guys, come on now. Or minute timer, say this is how long you got. We got to keep the game moving. We don't want to rush people, but at the same time, it could drag the game down some, and you might notice that. I will say another con possibility is I don't see myself, and I'm saying this, I never played this at 2. I played this at 3 and 4, okay? I hadn't played it at 5, but I feel like 5 would be awesome as well. I cannot possibly see myself playing this at 2 or less. I just can't. I don't understand how that could even be that fun, because I feel like with a negotiation game like this, the more, the merrier, the higher the player count, it's going to just do better. You know what I mean? Because there's some more interaction at the table. As a matter of fact, when we played 3, we enjoyed it, but once we got to 4, we were having a ball with it. You know what I mean? It was just some kind of a change in that dynamic. Even adding just one more player from 3 to 4 that just absolutely I can play this at 3 now, but I'm really pining to play it at 4 or 5 from this point on. I just don't know that I want to, let me put it this way. If I'm looking for a 3-player game one night, negotiation or not, doesn't matter. I don't know how quickly I would be willing to pull this out. I think it just shines at 4 or 5. 3's fine, and we had fun with it. I don't want to shoot it down at 3. But for me personally, 4 or 5 is probably going to be my sweet spot from this point on. So with the 1 to 3 player count, or even the 1 to 2, I don't ever want to play it. Those really are the only major cons that I've got. Again, if you don't like negotiation, this might not be the game for you, but if you like deck building and engine building, it's got those elements in there. That's what really kept me interested. I like negotiation, don't get me wrong, but those extra elements really push this over the line for me to where I'm giving this right now as a rating an 8 out of 10 for me. It is a fantastic game, phenomenally done. IV Studios did a great job on this. Barring any of the little bit of cons that I had with it, this game is just, I could see this climbing into one of my favorite games one day. It's an awesome game. So anyway, thank you so much for watching the Dice Odyssey videos and hearing me ramble on about how much fun I had with it. But it really is a quality game, y'all, and y'all need to check it out. It's fun. Thank you again. Tell me, have you gotten to play Moonrakers? Do you like negotiation, deck building, engine building, any of that? But let me know down in the comments. Thank you so much. You have a blessed day, and game away. This video is brought to you by Fallen Dominion Studios. Check out their website at fallendominionstudios.com.